Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Latin America show. My name is Enrique Gelista, and it's a pleasure for me to be tonight with all of you. And well, of course, first of all, I would like to ask you to share this program with all your friends, with all the people. It's very easy. If you are watching us through Facebook, well, you have a button here that it says share or compartir in Spanish. So well, it just take us 2 seconds just to put it there in order that more people, they know what are we doing, the Latino Americans, all across the region, and of course, knowing more about our culture. So, well, we have planned a fantastic show for all of you. So, we're going to talk about Guatemala. And well, of course, I would like just to remind you that, well, we have a lot of different kind of social networks that you can follow us. You can follow us through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So it's very easy. Also in YouTube, you can watch all the previous programs that we have had before, like could be, we have talked about Ecuador, about Mexico, about the Dominican Republic, about Cuba, Colombia. So, well, of course, there are a lot of information there. And of course, please let us know if you're interested in any particular country, or if you are interested, or you have some people that they would like to come with to the program and maybe to present something interesting or something related with Latin America. They could be Latin American people, or they could be people that they are just linked in the world and they have any relationship with Latin America. So, well, I would like to introduce first my two hosts here, my friends, mis amigos, Roger Alarcon.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see you once again here in this lovely Tuesday, kind of like a, not evening yet here in London, but ready to start the program and ready to interview these wonderful guests we have today. So stay.
Thank you, my dear Roger. And well, also on the other side, well, not on the other side, also now she's back in London. So we have our Spanish teacher. She is Whitney Nuchereno. Hi, how you doing, Whitney?
A little jet lagged, but I'm good, thank you. Buenas noches a todos y bienvenidos al show. And I look forward to doing a little bit of Spanish with you later, and stay tuned for that. And of course, your favorite part, some slang.
Excellent. So, well, I think is the interesting part about talking about Guatemala. So, well, we're going to talk, as I said at the beginning, we're going to talk about Guatemala. And Guatemala, they have amazing parts and amazing things that we can discover. Today, we're going to be a little bit focusing art because, well, it's something that it's quite relevant. And sometimes we haven't noticed that part that Guatemala they have. Well, this is the flag. So, well, I would like to start saying that where is located Guatemala? Well, Guatemala, you know, here we have, sorry, this side, here we have the America continent. So, well, of course, you know that the America continent, as we have talked before, we have split in 3 different regions: North America, Central America, and South America. So Central America starts in Guatemala and Belize and ends in Panama. So Guatemala is located in Central America. It has 4 different countries that has borders with. It has borders with, at the north, with Mexico, at the east, with Belize. At the south, it has El Salvador and Honduras. So, well, also, it's a country that has 2 different coasts. It has a coast in the Pacific Ocean and on the other side, the Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean. So it's like, and that's the reason why the flag, as we saw before, the flag, it has different stripes. And the stripes that they have is like two blue colors that will represent the 2 colors, the 2 oceans that they have. And also, it's like the meaning about the blue color is about justice and about loyalty. Also, in the middle, they have the white color that, well, is talking about the purity and the integrity of their people. Also, well, there's the coat of arms, which has like, of course, it has a quetzal that, well, is an important bird for them. It's a national bird. And if you have seen them, it's honestly amazing, all the feathers that they have, so it's amazing. And the name of Guatemala is coming from the Nahuatl. Nahuatl used to be the original language that speaks the Aztecs. And the original name, it should be something related to Guatemalan. And Guatemalan means place of many trees. If you have had the opportunity to be there, it's a fantastic place. If you haven't, please add it in the list of countries that you have to visit once you go to Latin America. So, well, moving a little bit forward is like, well, I can say that some quick facts about Guatemala. So, well, the official name is Republic of Guatemala, República de Guatemala. It has a population around 17 million people, and it's split in 22 departments. The official language is Spanish. However, they have 21 dialects or local languages. The capital is Guatemala City. However, there are three main cities that, well, if you are going to go to Guatemala, you have to go there. Is Guatemala City, Quetzaltenango, and Antigua Guatemala. If you have seen the promo that we have at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, that we have the promo of Guatemala, this yellow arch and everything, the area that, well, you can visit in Guatemala, Antigua, Guatemala, it's simply amazing, and it's a very, it's something that you must put in your list of places to visit. They have in Guatemala City, they have around 1 million people living there, and it's the most populated country in Central America. The independence that, well, they declared independence from Spain the 15th of September 1821, and from Mexico, they declared their independence in the 1st of July of 1823. However, they celebrate as the main party that they have is the one that they declared independence from Spain. So this year, this 15th of September, they will celebrate 190 years of independence. The currency that they have is the quetzal. As I told you at the beginning, the quetzal is this amazing bird with beautiful feathers that, well, is also the name of the currency that they use. The area they are covering is around 108,000 square kilometers, so it's something roughly about 42,000 square miles. So just that you have an idea, and comparing with other countries, it could be the size of Cuba, or it could be bigger than Iceland and bigger than Portugal, if we compare with European countries. It's very famous about coffee, tea, spices, fruit, clothing, and some accessories, sugar, and also some mineral fuels, like it could be included the oil. So, but also they have like a fantastic heritage. And if we're talking about the fantastic heritage that they have, we have to talk a little bit about the art. And if you have been in that area, Guatemala is a nice place because, well, if you like this Mayan culture, the Mayan culture mainly is settled in Guatemala and the southeast part of Mexico. So, well, it's some place that maybe if you are interested in Mayans, you should go there. And to talk a little bit about this part of the culture and this part of the art, we have our first guest. She is Cecilia Santamarina, and she's curator and cultural attaché in London. So I would like to say welcome to Cecilia Santamarina. That, well, now I think Cecilia Santamarina. Hi, how are you? Good evening.
Hello, thank you for having us. Hello, Whitney, Roger, and Enrique. I'm so happy to be here in the Latin America show. And as you said, very proud of being cultural attaché for the Guatemalan embassy in the UK and Northern Ireland. The fact is that there's just very little time to speak all that we could, express and describe about Guatemala. But anyway, we'll make the best to make it happen. And I know we have a surprise later, which is great, and everybody's going to enjoy the next guest. And well, we can start with what you were mentioning, the fact that we have a great culture. Our ancestors in the Maya culture, which was very, very sophisticated. And in those times, they what we know as the south of Mexico, Guatemala, and part of Honduras. That was the whole kingdom of the Mayan culture when they were, in their best times. And most of their influence you can still see in many of the artistic expressions. And besides the places you mentioned to be visited, as the city of Quetzaltenango, Antigua, and the main city of Guatemala Ciudad, we also mention the wonderful parks of Tikal and Mirador, where people can visit actually the Mayan temples and and we have two different UNESCO sites. For instance, one is Quiriguá, which belongs to the Mayan culture, and the other one is Antigua Guatemala, precisely for the colonial heritage. So there's a bit for everyone. There's jungle, there's adventure, there's, beaches, there's, something for everybody.
And yes, a lot of fantastic places about ruins and everything. These pyramids, as you were saying, for example, Tikal, I think is a lovely place that people they can visit. If you don't know what is Tikal, I recommend you strongly to Google it because, well, it's just a beautiful place that also, of course, it has a lot of history. And well, if you are this kind of Mayan lovers of this culture, I'm pretty sure that, well, of course, Guatemala has give us a lot of different backgrounds, and they have a lot of cities and beautiful places. And as you say, it's this fantastic mixture between the jungle and these historical places. And in some
Yes.
cases, if you have the opportunity, nowadays it's not allowed, but in some pyramids, you can go to the top and you can see all the jungle from the top, and it's just simply a fantastic view.
Yes, that's how it is. And also the fact that we have the great richness of many different cultures still surviving from the old times is also very particular. This is why we still have so many languages being spoken in Guatemala from the different cultures that are there. They're multicultural countries.
And I would like just if we can start, Cecilia, a little bit talking about this culture and this art, if we want to go in a particular way. Because, well, of course, the art, as we were talking about, this ancient culture that we have about the Mayans, and well, it's part of the art in Guatemala that started there with these fantastic murals that you can find in the different places. But also, it's like becoming a little bit like different with the time, because well, later on the Spanish conquerors, they arrived to Guatemala, so the art has moved from these Mayans to a little bit of the Spanish. Later on, of course, we know that in Latin America the Catholic culture it was like very representative and very important.
Yes.
So I know that there are a lot of paintings related with Catholic culture during like these 300 years that, well, they were like 500 years that they were like occupying Latin America. And later on, of course, we are like moving forward to something more like a mixture between all the different kind of contemporary art, etc. So I don't know if you can tell us just, I know that we have just short time, but just a brief about how this evolution of the art in Guatemala happened.
Well, yes, as you say, as you mentioned, there's still, remains of what the Mayan culture created in terms of mainly sculptures, architecture, and murals and frescoes, as you mentioned perfectly. Those are still there because, somehow during this long period of time, many of these objects and constructions and buildings are still remaining. We know definitely that many of those were destroyed, but we still have enough as to see. And in that sense, if we want to look at this art, a few things are visible in Europe as well. There's many of these objects available at the British Museum, for instance, or maybe in Paris, you can go see. So people can study the culture. So that's, the function of the museums is for us to be able to go and check things out. And then there is some of it at the British Museum if you are located in London, for instance. Anyway, also talking about the colonial times, that's the way we refer to this time where we had the Spanish, colonized part of Latin America and North America as well. There's a lot of richness there that was mixed between these artists, architects, and sculptures that came from Europe to America, mixed with the ability that was already there, the talent that was already there, quickly was able to find the skill to make wonderful colonial art as well. And then moving on, 100 years, 200 years later, or 500 years later, we should just make a jump to something that's closer to us, which would be the modern art. If we go and see the modern era, then you can see the perfect syncretism between the colonial and the Mayan ancestors, plus whatever was going on actually that point in time in history of modern art. So we have a great artist that many people heard about. His name is Carlos Mérida. His work is found in the city of Mexico, for instance, and of course in Guatemala as well. So that period of the time is also important because it shows more or less how the syncretism of something that's already mixing the historic plus the mixture plus the new things have developed in a very own and author language in a way. And these trends are seen in the whole future after that. And then if we go to the contemporary arts very quickly, then we can see as well this mixture of the roots that actually makes us all up, which is a combination between two very important cultures. One is the European and the other one is, of course, the Mayan culture. Both very rich, very interesting, and very different. So when we see the artists from Guatemala, many times you'll see a bit of a discovery, desire to find a new language and to express all these colors and emotions, but based with huge fundamentals from these two great grandparents, if you want to name it that way. So this is what you see. And in that sense, I would like to mention a few of them that have been very, internationally well known. One would be Carlos Mérida from the 70s mainly. Then now we have great conceptual artists like Regina Jose Galindo or Darío Escobar, or maybe Naufus Figueroa. We can see Sylvia Denburg. There's a few in different fields that have been well regarded, let's say, internationally in different scenarios. And talking about the ones that are not conceptual, but more in the traditional way or academic, you have a guest later that you will see and talk about. And also there's a lot of different techniques that are explored by the artist in different ways. And all of them are masterful in their techniques and very original. Now, if we talk about the syncretic art that you were mentioning a little bit earlier, it still happens. It still happens that everybody in Guatemala has a chance to express themselves through color. It's a very colorful country because of its geography, the nature, and all the landscape as well. We always say that because of all those volcanoes and all the nature that is around us, we always have a beautiful backdrop. And then there's no way to not be inspired, let's say it that way. So people expresses themselves in different ways, and definitely there's always a richness to it because of this huge mixture. You can see now the fishing is a very strong magnet to our country as well, as fishing as a sport, golfing. That's Lake Atitlan. Those are the Grutas de Candelaria. So yeah, Lake Atitlan is a great source of inspiration also for many artists, local artists as well. You see the weaving, the textile art. The textile art is one of our main probably ways of expression and very well regarded all over the world. And the traditional dress is also very particular. We have many of them and they're still in use. There's the black sand beaches that you can see there with the turtles and the jungle, of course.
Well, as you were saying, it's like also we can find this black sand because, well, just that the audience they know, well, it's like Guatemala, it has like 30 volcanoes, only 3 of them, they are active, but of course they have 30 different volcanoes that you can visit. And obviously if you like hiking and everything, I think so it could be like a good experience to go there and to visit them. And also that's the reason why also for the richness of this nature that they have, because well, all these ashes and everything, create this kind of fantastic landscapes that, well, now you can see and you can watch now that, well, the Roger is passing through. And also just going back and all these changes that you were telling us about the new artists and everything, the contemporary. I know that, and it was interesting because when you were talking about contemporary, I remember that, well, Guatemala participated in the London Design Biennale,
Yes.
and they have a fantastic exhibition. So it's like, I don't know if you can tell us a little bit, because I think some of the people that they are watching us, they would like to know more about this kind of contemporary art.
Yes, the contemporary art from Guatemala is really making a big leap. Let's say huge participations in the different international events like Venice Biennale or Japan Biennale, or, the, many of them artists are really making a great career and different way and expressing themselves somehow that everybody else is really admiring. And I mentioned a few of them. Now, in the London Design Biennale, I was lucky enough to be the curator for this installation that was presented in the 2018. And in that time, we were trying to work and express the idea of precisely one of the towns in Lake Atitlan. So we were presenting this project that was made of about 52,000 pieces of textile that was used to build it, and 60 different sculptures from wooden made to show the town. And everybody was there, and we were so lucky as to be the favorite of the public's choice medal. And we are one of the only 4 countries to have medals in this year. Next year, we're going to present again with another project, and we're going to present a sound installation where I am working with Maria Adela Diaz. She's based in Los Angeles, a Guatemalan artist, and the great musician Joaquin Orellana, who is doing the sound design. So it's exciting for 2021. We'll meet there in June in Somerset House. In another sense, also, I do like to work a lot with emerging artists, and we have done also the Latinaria Collective here in London for 5 different editions. And in that opportunity, I've been able to curate together with Irene Due, and we've had about 22, 24 different artists, one of them being Mendel Samayoa. We had Lucia Rorman, Irene Carlos, Ana Lorena Núñez, Carlos Rafael Anzueto, Valens. It's 24 of them. We can do 24 different interviews in the program if you want, because all of them are really interesting, and the London public really, really love their different expressions. So those are the main 2 things we've done in London, and as the embassy, trying to bring Guatemalan artists to the London audience.
And of course, well, I think so. Well, next year you have to come here and just to give us an update about what is going to happen in the London Biennale, and also, well, just like everybody can come and can see the different projects and everything that Guatemala is presenting for 2021. But I know that also one of the things that you are working on that is like very interesting is this BIA, or the Visual Ibero-American Arts Prize. And I think that this is very interesting because also, well, COVID has changed everything, and well, now they are changing the concept. So they are making something more spiritual. But well, I don't know if you want to explain us first, what is this Visual Ibero-American Arts and which countries they are integrating it? And of course, it's just like inviting people that, well, if they would like to see, they have the opportunity to do it like online.
Excellent. So I think our lovely audience will be able to see some links in the Facebook comments if they want to see more of whatever we are talking about. But more importantly, this is a call for all artists from wherever you are once you're based in the UK. If you are based in the UK, you can come and participate in the VIA Arts Prize. So this is something that we organize from the Association of Latin America, Spain, and and Portugal Cultural Attaches Association, which I am very honored to chair, and all the countries from Latin America, Spain, and Portugal as well. We all get together in London to organize this beautiful contest for visual arts and also video. So all you have to do is go to Via Arts Prize, and then you can submit your art. And we have great jury members each year. This will be our 6th edition, and we are doing it online. So now we have jury members from all different places in the world to judge the work, and the exhibit will be also done online. So for the first time, everybody all over the world will be able to see the work, the selection. And that's a new thing that, you know, out of all these messy times, good things can also be brought about and thought about. So this is one of them, and everybody will be able to see the selected works. And instead of having one first, second, and third prize, where only the first and second traditionally get a cash prize, we have designed it this way that 4 of the artists will get cash prizes this year, which is great. It's a great achievement. So people can be more motivated, and more artists can be benefited from this contest. Plus, all the 4th artists will be able to exhibit at Sala Brasil whenever it's the best time, beginning of next year probably. So it's going to be a double award in a way, because not only the cash prize is a little bit, you know, divided between 4 of the winners, but also the collective exhibit will be able, each artist will be able to show more of their work at Sala Brasil, just a few steps from Trafalgar Square. So once the call is still open, please come and show your work. And once we're done with that, I'm going to come back to the Latin America show to invite everybody to come and see the selection and see who is there.
Of course, and of course you have to come here, and well, we're going to share with all the audience a different kind of prizes and who were the winners and what kind of art they present. And also it's like yes, I think it's very interesting because, well, now we have a lot of people, they are watching us, and some of them, they are in different parts of the world. We have people that they are watching us in US, there are people that they are watching us in Mexico, of course in Guatemala. We have people like here in London. That, well, it's like, I'm just going to take just a quick look about people that they are commenting that is interesting because, well, there's one topic that we talked before we start the show, that we were talking behind the scenes, that people, they were not looking, but, well, it's like, well, I would like to say thank you to Alejandro Martinez, that she's in Mexico, Abhijit, that, well, he's here and he's saying hello to the gang. Also, they are saying, well, Just Misha, Yvonne Velasquez, that, well, she's a highly support of this show. Thank you very much, Yvonne, for all your work and also all your support. We have Paulo Mancilla here in the UK. And of course, they start talking about the rum, Zacapa, or yeah, they start, you know, we were talking about that, but, well, it's like now they are highlighting that part, that, well, they are talking about the rum that is from Guatemala, that is Zacapa. They are saying that is fantastic. Alejandro Martinez is commenting that. Also, I think so, Abhijit is saying the same. Hello, of course, to Jadi Pineda, to Isabella Silva, Jasmisha, Virginia Santamaria, Nancy Castillo, that she is in US. Tamara Smith, you saying your installation in the last Biennale was breathtaking.
Oh, thank
Cecilia,
you, Tamara.
my
Thank
students
you.
really love it.
She's always, yeah, she's always supporting.
Yeah, also, well, I would like to say hello to one of my cousins that also is watching us, Antonio. Thank you very much. Gary Dancy, that she's here in the UK. Well, she's saying, sounds a beautiful place with lots of exciting things happening. Yes, of course. So, well, it's like, as I said at the beginning, it's like, please give us your commentaries. Let us know what do you want to know. If you have any questions, let us know and put it here in the commentaries, you know, that, well, maybe we can ask. And just like moving forward, Cecilia, you were talking about this contemporary art. So I think so. We have a contemporary artist as well. You know him very well.
Yes.
But I would like that, Roger, if you can give us just a little bit of the introduction about who is our next guest.
Yeah, of course, Enrique. We have a wonderful guest. His name is Mendel Samayoa. Mendel started his career as a visual artist in the 80s, organizing solo exhibitions. He's an architect as well. He lived in Chile for several years, but when he came back to Guatemala, he started a gallery called Chaos Gallery. All his work is very interesting because he have a lot of areas: painting, filming, theater, and photography. He's a storyteller, celebrating life, the composition on the paper, the camera, and on the stage, and all forms, colors, and textures. He loves to see the natural on the minds of the people. Please give a welcome to Mendel Samayoa.
Hello, Mendel. How are you?
Oh, what a great introduction. I would love to hear that again. It hears very well when you tell it.
Oh, thank you very much. No, it's a pleasure.
Thank you to you. Thank you to you all. I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you very much, because you are, I know you're in Guatemala, so you're contacting, you're on this show from there. Thank you very much to join us. And obviously a very recognized artist. Thank you to Cecilia to give us your contact. And well, now we have you on the program. Mendel, as we see on the introduction, tell us about yourself, about you, the artist you are, how everything starts for you.
Well, I am, as I think, I am a born artist, because the first remember that I have from my childhood was painting things, playing with visuals, playing with colors, with textures. It's the way I think, and the way I remember things is visual. For example, I'm going to tell you something. When you're in school, you do that thing that remembers you the answers of a test. And we call in Guatemala, we call it chivo, because it's illegal. But I did that with drawings, not with words. So when the teacher told me, what do you have in your hand? What is that? It's like hieroglyphicos. It's like Mayan drawings, you know. It's like very weird things. But I remember things because visuals. I remember things by drawing. And so I start drawing when I start probably writing. And that's a thesis that I have, that everybody can draw. If you can write by hand, you can draw. Because it's about muscular things, you know. It's a fine muscular things. Drawing or writing. If you can write by hand, you can draw. So I started since I have a memory, and all I do is follow my skills, follow my pleasures. Probably that sounds weird, follow my pleasures, but I feel very pleasure because I like to draw, I like to paint, but the thing is, I call myself visual artist because everything came by my eyes.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, just reading about you and studying about you, your career as a visual artist, I understand you because I am a photographer. But visual artist, you done photography, then you done
we are colleagues
films
in many ways.
Then you do films, and then obviously even you do theater. I mean, how was the richness of being on so many areas?
You know, it's about following your skills and your pleasure. I feel too much pleasure when I see things aesthetically made, and then I translate that to scenes of film, of feature movies. I translate aesthetics in theater, I translate aesthetics in photography, and finally, the thing enjoy is to play God. I call it like that. I play God when I paint because there is nothing, and then I start painting. My process is I do textures because I don't like to be totally in control of what I'm doing. I let the canvas talk to me. I do textures and I apply colors. When I have textures and colors, I start looking at the canvas and start finding the story that is inside that textures and colors that work on their own way, not my way, on their own way. And when I discover the story, I just rescue that story, and that's my painting. It's a very simple process if you think about that. But it's, I think it's all about honestly. You know, I'm very honest. I just do very simple things. I'm not complicated in that way because I try to do that from my inside. I don't paint, I don't copy things. I don't paint things like landscapes or faces. I just do what I have inside. Like somebody told me sometimes, you paint your angels and your demons. That's real. When I paint, I talk about what I don't know, not about what I completely know. It's about, I don't know what I'm painting, but I'm doing it and I have pleasure. And I hope when someone came, have the same pleasure, but in another way, because it's about interpretation.
Well, it's amazing, that interpretation, because I was looking a bit of your work, and obviously you were telling us a story which is something really difficult to find. As a little bit of I'm an artist, but then what you've done is just try to integrate, or the person try to get into what you do. What was the fascination about doing the persons, but like you say, not precisely faces, but then the humans and the persons? How was it?
You know, it's because you know, that mix about painter and photographer and filmmaker makes you look the reality in another way, because you have inside I have inside my brain about out of focus things and how the light, when it gets into your eyes, don't let you see perfect things. So I love on perfection, you know. It is because when you see things, you don't look them perfectly like hyper realistic painters do. I think when you are in the street, people are moving, you don't see them perfectly. It's like out of focus. They are moving. They have shadows. They have lights. I feel it like a camera. You know, when the light is inside the camera, for example, you're a photographer. I love your photography. You know that when the light hits the lenses, you don't look it perfect. But I love that because I love imperfection. I love imperfection of seeing things, and that came from another thing because I don't have perfect eyes. So probably I look out of focus every time. That's why I painted out of focus, but I don't see it.
That's a very interesting thing you say, because obviously every artist got their own inspiration, but what you do is something very attractive. I mean, you get in, what I like is what you get into, and then actually you kind of imagine a story, how at the moment it was that, no? So that's a very attractive paints.
Yes, because naturally I'm a storyteller. I don't want to do you know, pieces of things that only tells one idea. I love layers and layers. When you, I hope you have one in a while to have one painting of me. You can see very much layers. You can see the figure, and then you can see the texture, but then you can see what is behind the texture, and then you start seeing some details. For example, in this what we have in the screen, you can see there's main figures, but there's a secondary figures upside down, and then you can see the texture, and then you can see some traces, and the first layer is a trace in yellow that tells you another layer, but there's some things in the shadows and some things about texture, but in the whole thing you can see imperfection. It's not perfect. I don't like things perfect because life is not perfect. Life is about the things that are not perfect. That's why it's human thing. It's being human is not perfection.
Well, in that way, I think, so, Mendel, I'm going to send you one of my draws that maybe is completely imperfect. Yeah.
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 And,
I would say
too,
terribly or awful.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But then obviously,
but there's a great idea what you're saying, because now you can see some art that are people doing beautiful art, but they are not good drawers. Their drawing is not perfect, but they are expressing things that are very important and very main things in art. So you don't have to draw perfect. What you have is to be honest about what you're trying to figure.
wow, that's amazing. I just wanted to share this because obviously on your work, I love this painting in particular, because I want you to talk a little bit about what's this
Cannot see the
COVID
complete
art.
screen, Roger. Can we see the complete screen?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah. You can put it again.
Yeah. This one. Yeah, that one. Sorry. Yeah, I can see it. Now I can see it.
Well, it's a little bit. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah,
Yep.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. I love this one because obviously that's one of the topic I wanted to ask you. Obviously now in this quarantine, you start doing something like called COVID art, and this one, it was very particular because obviously you have all people together, and everyone's got like the mask covers. So how this starts, and then obviously then you help with your work. Tell us a little bit about first how you start the COVID art.
Well, it's about being so, I don't know how to say in English, I don't remember the word, but eres muy receptivo. You are so
Receptive.
Very
a
sensitive.
everything
sensitive.
affects you. When you're an artist, everything affects you. So you have not the right, but the obligation of paint what is happening to the humanity around you. So I start painting about the COVID, I start painting about the quarantine, I start painting about the virus, because it's what's happening to me as a human, and it's what's happening to all of the world. So for me, probably in my whole life, probably is one of the few moments, or probably the only moment, that I'm gonna be in connection with all over the world, because everybody in the world it's passing about by that. So I start painting about human beings, and human being is about being afraid of what we don't know what's really happening, using masks, but you don't know exactly what's happening. So you don't know if you have to be together, united as a crew, or you have to worry about only by yourself. So in that painting that you showed us, I painted a lot. I painted like, I don't remember, like 20 or 30 pieces about the COVID and the virus. But in that, especially, specifically, what you showed, there is a crowd with masks, but there is one person without it. Can you see that? And that person is in a leadership way. So I painted it because in that moment that was painted at the start of the quarantine, me as an artist didn't know exactly what's happening. I know you don't know if you have to use mask or you don't, and what's happening if you are so near or not. So it's about I don't know, in English it's like ese momento que no sabes exactamente qué está pasando.
Mhm.
That's the moment you know what's.
Have an
And
idea
then
what is
Whitney,
happening around.
Whitney,
Yeah.
just Whitney, to end up this, you have a question.
I have a quick question, because I know we're kind of running out of time, but Mendel, it's clear that you're, given your international success, that you're very versatile in the arts, having worked in many domains such as film, obviously painting, graphic design, amongst a few of them. Which type of art do you connect to the most and why?
There's only one answer about that, is painting. Painting, as I told you at the beginning, painting is like playing God. It's, you have a blank canvas. You are the owner of the whole framing and the whole composition, and that's what I love to do. But in case when you have actors, or in case you have a subject in photography, or in case you have a stage with theater, you try to play that thing with live people, with people that are alive. So it's not that easy, but it's a challenge that I love to do that too.
No, actually, I think so that, well, all the things that, well, if people, they are interested to know more about it, we already put different kind of links here in the commentary. So, well, of course, you can see the different gallery, if you want to say that, that Mendel has. Actually, I strongly recommend you to visit that website, because, well, you will see this all the different art that this amazing artist that is Mendel, that, well, he is producing. So, well, it's like, if you have the opportunity, take a look, and you can review all the biography and all the different news that, well, they are regarding to Mendel. So thank you very much, Mendel. Of course, you don't have to leave now, because now we have this Spanish lessons with our Whitney, that, well, she's like, just I know that you have a terrible jet lag again, Whitney. Now you're back here in the UK, but, well, it's like, tell us about some Spanish lessons, my dear Whitney.
I just want to say hello, just want to say hello about in Spanish. Somebody told me about the rum of Guatemala, and say salud in Spanish.
Salud. Sí, salud.
With zacapa. How do you translate zacapa? There's no translation, because it's a principle.
No. But highly recommend.
Drink zacapa.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, so we're gonna get right into the segment.
I'm having water. Cheers.
Okay, so we're gonna start this segment making Spanish simple. A lot of the vocab that we're covering tonight is vocabulary that's related to what we were talking about, particularly the arts. So if you're traveling to a Spanish-speaking country, for example, Guatemala, you're going to need a few of these words. And I'm going to skip through a couple of them, just given the time, but el museo. El museo is where you're going to see all sorts of different culture, whether it's la historia, history, and that's one up here, Museo Nacional de la Historia en la Ciudad de Guatemala. That's one in the city of Guatemala that's very well known. But since our topic is art, another museum, Museo de Arte Moderno, Palacio Nacional, both of which have exhibited works of art by Mendel. And the word for art is el arte. But if you're talking about arts in general, it's las artes. And it's a very simple reason, and that's because of the la and arte kind of being close together. It's el arte to pronounce it better, and las artes when it's plural, because you have the s's separating the vowels. It's similar with other words like agua, but we're going to get into the art vocabulary. So there are many types of arts, and today we're going to focus on, tonight, I'm still on US time, we're going to focus on las bellas artes, fine arts. We've talked about in former segments, la danza or el baile, and you can pronounce these after me at home. After we've talked about Colombia and Cuba and their dance, so la danza y el baile. We have el teatro. A lot of these are cognates. You can figure out what these mean, but theater, of course. La música. Remember, with that accent, there's some intonation on that word. La música. And then, of course, la pintura, which Mendel has talked about his works in la pintura and painting. La escultura, of course, is sculpture, and la arquitectura, which, as I'm sure you can guess, is architecture. Okay. An artist in Spanish is el artista or la artista. Any word that ends in ISTA that talks about a person can either be masculine for the male form and feminine for the female form. Like turista, you have el or la artista. So you have the masculine and the feminine. And that goes, that's similar for all the other words on this list. On the left, you have the male artist, and the right, you have the female artist, like el bailarín is dancer, but bailarina, female dancer, etc. For a musician, we didn't talk about music in this episode, but it's coming up, I'm sure, in future episodes. El músico or la música. And then, of course, Mendel is pintor, okay? And the feminine form is pintora. And el escultor y la escultora are those who sculpt. I can't think of the word in English right now because my brain is on US time. And then finally, we have las artes visuales, which we talked about, of course, la pintura again, because that's a visual art. La fotografía, la foto is short for that. La fotografía, photography. El video, el dibujo, as we were talking about earlier, drawing. And then engraving is el grabado. We haven't discussed that, but in case that's something that you want to learn, that's part of las artes visuales as well. So la pintura, la fotografía, el video, el dibujo, y el grabado at the bottom there. And then again, some of these professions, you have fotógrafo, fotógrafa for photographer. So Mendel y Rogers son fotógrafos, and Mendel también es cineasta, that is a filmmaker. And then, of course, you have the cognates, director, as we're talking about film, directora, productor, productora. You have director, producer. You just add an A to make them feminine when you're talking about the female directors, producers, and whatnot. And then, of course, we mentioned the words in English, actor. Again, very similar, el actor and la actriz. So again, fotógrafo, cineasta, director, productor, actor, or actriz. Okay. And then our final segment, heard on the street. This is, for example, some of the slang that you might hear on your next or first trip to Guatemala. So, for instance, you have, so when you're talking about someone who's from Guatemala, Guatemalteco, Guatemalteca, that's the common phrase for the majority of us who do not come from there and might not have even been able to visit yet. But a more local phrase would be chapín or chapina. And chapín is for Guatemalteca, chapina, Guatemalteca. Again, that's for Guatemalan. And then you have calidad. We've talked about this in other segments. It means cool, like guay, chévere, bacán, we talked about in Colombia. There are a bunch of them. So it's another way of saying it. You have chilero, which is similar, and it means like awesome or good. It can also mean pretty, and depends on the context. Context is everything. And then for all of you tourists, el pisto, it's another way of saying el efectivo, which it means cash. So that's a good word to know. And then just a few more. Last week, when we talked about Argentina, and then back when we talked about Cuba, we did a lot of modes of transportation, the generic ones and the ones that were very special to those countries. And a couple words are special to Guatemala are el chané, la burra. The slang version means bus. It's another way of saying autobús. In Argentina, we call it un colectivo. In the DR, Cuba, Puerto Rico, una guagua. And then un or una brocha, you might not use this word, but you might hear it. It's someone who might collect the fares on a bus. And then el bochinche is like el caos. It's chaos or a mess. And that's something you might very well hear. And then last but not least, the word casaca. There are several terms for this. One is una mentira, which is a way of saying a lie, una mentira, or something that's easy to do, like a fácil hacer, as una casaca. And that is a very abridged version of tonight's Making Spanish Simple. Again, when we talk about Guatemala, there'll be more words and slang. But until then, please subscribe to my website, makingspanishsimple.com, where you'll have immediate access to my YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And that might be one of my fastest segments.
No, thank you very much, Whitney. And
Next,
you know
we
what?
want you to visit, Whitney. You can come anytime now. You ready?
I'm ready.
Wait, Whitney, you have to know about casaca is about when you are flirting to, and you are when you are telling lies to the girl or the girl to the guy, and she is or he is giving him casaca.
I did see that.
And you know what? It's interesting because
it sounds like you're speaking from experience. Oh, sorry.
no, you were talking about something.
My aunt is here and wants to say hello to everybody. Just say hello.
Oh.
Hola, hello.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Hello, everyone. Hola.
Oh,
Hello.
Hola. Bueno, so nice to hear different things from him. He wouldn't even tell me. So I'm enjoying it really very much.
Salud.
Salud, I had in cup.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is interesting because you know what? You were saying that pisto means money.
Yeah.
In Mexico, pisto means alcohol. In some places in Mexico, it's like, are you gonna buy some pisto or something, or bring some pisto?
Yeah.
Because it means alcohol for us.
Which is so interesting because it shares a border. So you would think that some of those words wouldn't be so entirely different, but there's no limit to that, right? You can go from one country to the next and one word means something completely different. So, and we'll obviously continue to talk about that because a lot of the words that I introduce, sometimes when I'm saying them and I know they're innocent in the country we're talking about, but I think, oh gosh, in that country, it means that. So
yeah, you have to be careful about that.
Exactly. So guys, remember, I'm just talking Guatemala.
Okay,
you know what?
Guatemala, pisto is money. It's not.
Yeah, don't get excited. Don't get excited if somebody's going to tell you that part. And you know what, Whitney? I think so that it's interesting. The first part of when you started saying that, for example, you were talking el arte, las artes, and that kind of thing. I have a lot of friends. Actually, I have to recognize that, well, when they are telling me el agua or la mano, that there is like a feminine, but we put an article in masculine or something, these kind of exceptions. I think so you have to give me a lesson because I don't know why we use it in Spanish, actually. I don't have any idea.
I could teach you the correct way and then the way I always see it, which is the incorrect way. Like anything that's EMA, and when kids write una problema, I just kind of want to die a little bit because it's un problema, una mano. There's so many. So yes, I think one of those days we'll do like gender and nouns, but
but in general, to me, because I have a lot of friends that, well, they are asking me why this exception, and I just said, because do it in that way. That's it. It's like, I don't know.
Enrique, you need to go to school again.
I know.
Again.
No, when you come to Guatemala, it's very weird because you're gonna tell your friend una mi tía, one of my aunts. So it's very weird, because it's my aunt, but it's one of my aunts.
Okay, well, so it's going to be interesting. It's like we are going to be more confused, but it's like, okay, well, what I'm talking Spanish from where? No.
yeah.
Exactly.
But no worries. Go to Guatemala, and after a good run, you can speak Spanish fluently.
Exactly.
That's
completely agree. And
maybe have a little of the casaca, right? The flirting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Coquetear un poco, yeah.
That I think so. In that way, I think so our next show, Cecilia and Mendel, I think so we have to do it with some zacapa and everything. Just
it's
like,
okay.
well, we feel like more friendly. And I think so it was interesting because in the last show, I don't know why we have this relationship with alcohol all the time. The last show we were talking about Argentina, and they were saying that, well, all the business and
Malbec.
everything normally
Malbec.
Malbec, yeah, it's related with a little bit of Malbec, etc., just to have a good relationship and to make a good deal. And now we're talking about rum the Zacapa rum that is very famous, that is coming from Guatemala. So it's like, I don't know what do we have, the Latinos, but well, I think it's all over the world. And I'm pretty sure our audience, they are enjoying it also, maybe in their homes, like maybe they are having a drink now.
But now they're learning as
well.
London.
Come on. Everybody.
No, I know.
We're not having tea and milk, darling. Whoever is having tea and milk, they can write it in the comments, and we'll know. It might have a little bit of whiskey in there as well.
Yeah, that's a good.
Even
mix.
if they are saying something like that they are drinking some milk or tea or something, we know that that is not true.
Oh,
yeah,
it's casaca.
That's not true.
It's casaca, exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Cecilia, and thank you very much, Mendel. I think it was like a fantastic opportunity to know more about the art from Guatemala, because, well, I think it's something that is not part of the normal things that we're talking about different countries. However, it's something relevant, and it's something that is outstanding in Guatemala. And of course, inviting all the audience to know more about Mendel, and of course, all the events like the Visual Ibero-American Arts Prize that is coming. And well, people, they can start seeing all these fantastic exhibition that is going to be online. So thank you very much, Cecilia. Thank you very much,
Very
Mendel.
quick one. This is the website.
Thank you for showing off.
This is the
way.
way
To participate. Just go to the website, and then you can read all about it. And you can see former participants, the winners, the jury members, and most importantly, be encouraged and just go for it. We have photography, by the way, Roger, so why not?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
I wish all my friends, artists from Latin America, could participate, but this one is for UK-based artists. So you know what? Come on and just read it, be inspired, and participate and do it. And for the audience, please go check all these links that we have shared in the comments, so you can also discover more of Guatemalan artists, more of the online galleries that are now going on. There's a link to Mendel's gallery, also to Elsie Arredon, my friend from California as well. And I also share a few more of the links so you can see more of the art. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cecilia, and thank you very much, Mendel. It's an honor having you here. And well, of course, I hope so. It's not going to be only the first and the last time. Of course, you have to come, Cecilia, to tell us more about the next Biennale and everything that is going to happen here in London, and of course, to know a little bit more about the winners from the Visual Ibero-American Arts Prize. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mendel, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I have a good time with you. I'm going to say goodbye with the Rayo Chapín. Rayo Chapín. What that means is one of the wrestling fighters from like 40 years ago. I have the t-shirt here, and that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
That's why. You're a fan of the wrestling. Thank you, Mendel.
Bye.
Thank you,
Have
Mendel.
a good afternoon.
Thank you. Muchas gracias,
Whitney.
Mendel.
Gracias, Whitney.
See ya.
Whitney, thank you very much for being here tonight. With the jet lag, hopefully you can have a good rest today. Well, tonight.
Yes, definitely. Thank you all for joining us here on the Latin America show, and we'll see you next week. I look forward to it.
Thank you. My dear Roger.
Well, thank you very much. I think this program I enjoyed a lot. So thank you very much for our guest of honor. Thank you, Cecilia, and thank you, Mendel. And then, well, I enjoyed it the most. So I hope so you enjoy it as well. See you next week.
Thank you, my dear Roger. Well, thank you very much to everyone. Also, well, I would like to ask you to follow us, to share this program with more people. Is like, that they know what is happening around Guatemala and to know more a little bit the arts. The next show that we're going to have next Tuesday is going to be about Chile. So, well, let's remember that this show is built for all of you. So we are doing with our love. So please let us know, give us your commentary, send us a message, follow us in our different social networks on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And of course, well, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, put the bell there in order that you know every time that we're posting something new. And well, of course, you will know about all the different chapters. They are there, so you can share with your friends if you are interested in different countries of Latin America. So, well, next Tuesday, remember that this show is every Tuesday from 8 to 9 London time. So, well, this is a Latin American show. My name is Enrique Gelista. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.